So as we are approaching the end of the year, we thought it would be a phenomenal time to talk about how to prepare as the year is dwindling away and we're moving into a new year, and to share a little bit about my own personal reflection process and what that looks like, and how I reflect upon the year. And I'm going to do a little bit of that reflection with you all today. So on today's podcast episode, we really want to dig deep into this end of year. So by the time you're listening to this episode, it's probably going to be the last week in November or something. There's going to be 4 weeks left in the year as we move into 2025. And for many people, this year has been a year full of contrast. It's been a year that has gone by so fast. Every single person I talk to is like, how are we in November already in 2024? Like, it just was January and here we are. And so the thing is with this year is this was a year of preparation for those that are going into 2025 that want to quantum leap and build their life. How do I know this? Because I've experienced it for myself. So this year, while it's been very fast, it's also been very contrasting, which means that there's been really high highs and there's been low lows. There's been experiences that have tested me, that have tried me, that have had me grow through and develop, but there's also been the biggest manifestations that I've ever experienced to date. So this contrast, this ups and downs, highs and lows, they are the law of rhythm. They are natural universal law. This is what will happen in your life over its lifetime. And so I created a process that I do at the end of every single year called reflection. It used to be called bless and release. And we do a bless and release ceremony, but the actual strategy that we're using, the actual activity, is to reflect upon the year that has gone by and to pull out what parts of the year were amazing, were incredible, what happened that I'm grateful for, what am I celebrating, what has been my growth. But also on the other side, we reflect on the areas of our life where maybe we don't feel we moved ahead, or maybe we started something and we didn't finish it, or maybe some things happened that were in contrary to what we thought we wanted, which is what we call the contrast. So when you do a full reflection process, you are reviewing the entire year so far, and you are taking a look at it with a higher level of awareness and understanding to allow yourself to become an elevated version for 2025. So if you're listening to this in 2024, we're going into 2025. Now, the beautiful thing about this reflection process, I've done it now. This will be, I believe, the 4th year that I've done this. And it is a 2-day live event. It is a 4-hour process where you will work with me for 4 hours live on Zoom to go through this process. I always give you homework at the end of the process. This used to be something that I would do as part of my courses or programs. But what I realized is that everyone, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what level you're at, no matter your education, no matter how successful you are, no matter if you're in a course or a program with me, this is an important reflective practice for you to learn and for you to start to do every single year. It is part of my own personal routine. My team does it, my clients and students do it. And then now, hopefully everyone here listening to this podcast or the YouTube channel can start to do this practice. So I will be doing one very shortly. It is December 5th and 6th, and it is free, open to everyone. So we will make sure that in the show notes that we have the link for you to register. And if you've missed it, I'm sure the replay will be sitting on the YouTube channel for you to be able to catch up and do it. I will guide you along a 2-day workshop to reflect upon your year so far. There is worksheets, there is homework for you to do, and then we will go into the new year together super strong. In 2022, I decided to become a non-drinker. And throughout my life, I had been celebrating and drinking lots of beautiful champagne and all those incredible things. And I stopped drinking. And it's now been 2.5 years, but I am so excited to partner with this beautiful brand, this beautiful company, Ilia. It is a premium rosé non-alcoholic sparkling. And I am so pumped because as we manifest and as we celebrate, we have a beautiful opportunity to do it for those of us that are now non-drinkers. And one of the most powerful things about this as well is the beauty of this brand. It's so luxurious and so wonderful, from Spain, but the creator is also in this material, and she studies, and she is a very powerful manifester. So to our growth and success, and to Ilya. So let me talk a little bit about why we review the year that has just passed. I think this is an important area for all of us to grow in. Sometimes what we want to do is we just want to move forward. So I'm somebody that is always looking ahead. And when you think about manifestation, it's like, okay, well, I want to create in my 3D physical space right now a reality that doesn't yet exist. So I'm going to look into a future state or a imaginative state, and I'm going to call it in and I'm going to bring it in. That's really great. And for the most part, I actually don't teach people to go into their past, to review it, to assess it, to compare it, to make it more real, because it's not always the most productive. But this reflective event and this time of year is one of the most pivotal times that I do actually ask people to reflect and to go back and to look at. I want to be super clear though about this process. This isn't about judging yourself. This isn't about getting upset with yourself for the things you didn't do, you didn't finish, you didn't start. This isn't about getting down on you or talking negatively or being disappointed. It's not shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's honestly looking back at it with compassion for yourself, with grace for yourself, with understanding for yourself, as an observer of how the year went. The difference between being an observer and being someone in judgment is the meaning with which you give it. So when we observe without judgment, we are able to see things from a higher spiritual perspective, where the ego isn't saying, oh, you didn't eat healthy all year long. You didn't exercise all year long. You didn't make the money that you said you were going to make all year long. How dare you? You're disappointed in yourself. You're frustrated. That's the judgment. And so what I've learned to do is the art of observation. And when I learn to observe myself and to observe my past and to observe what I have or haven't done, where were my goals met? Where weren't they? It's observation and it's strictly feedback. So you won't see me go back and say, oh, I did this wrong. This failed. This was a mistake that I made. I look back at it and I say, okay, this month, our revenue wasn't quite where we wanted it to be. That month, I only worked out twice a week instead of 3 times a week that I said I would. This week, I had a family situation come up and it threw me off and I, ended up being in bed all week. Whatever that is, we observe it without judgment so that we can learn from the feedback. What set me off? Why wasn't that month the best month? Why did 2 times a week only happen instead of 3 when 3 was what I wanted to do? And so if we go into looking at our year from an observation lens, and we decide that we want to become 1% better, we start to see where the areas of growth are. And this is where we then will go into 2025 learning from who we've been in the past, what worked for us, and what didn't work for us. Now, the reason I used to call this exercise bless and release was because it's a very, very important part of this process. So after we go through and we look at all the months of the year and what were the good things that happened, what were the so-called bad things, I mean, it's your mind that's determining that anyways. We then make a decision, what are we going to bless and bring with us into 2025? And what are we going to release and leave in 2024? What are the judgments? What are the experiences? What are the memories? What are some of the people maybe that we're going to leave in 2024? And when we do that, we really ritualize it. So we take that experience, that bless and release, as the second step in this workshop. We create that beautiful bless and release ritual, and it gives you this point of celebration to be able to move into 2025 knowing exactly what is going with me and what am I leaving behind. And then the third part of this reflection process that I do at the end of every single year, notice that I'm not saying I do it at the beginning of a new year. I do it at the end of every year. So in December, usually about that first week of December is when I tend to do it, into the second week. But the most important part of this then is step 3 is to create a new vision. A clear, concise, crisp vision of what we want to see for our lives. What would we love? And when we go through this reflection and we have evaluated the year and we've gotten the feedback and we see what was good, what was bad, then we've done this bless and release ceremony and we've really allowed ourselves to let go of things and to embrace new things and take them with us. Now we start with a new clear vision from almost like this clean slate, from this beautiful place of who can I now become? What is the experience that I can hold? And how can I have in 2025 a year that I'm even more proud of, a year that I'm living more in gratitude, a year that I am existing in unconditional love, for 2025. How can we do that? And so this process, these 3 steps, will give you an opportunity. If you do this at the end of every single year, before January 1st comes about, it's not about setting New Year's resolutions. You've consolidated your life. You've got a vision for what's coming next, and you have the steps in thought, feeling, and action. You know exactly who you're going to be come January 1st. And what ends up happening every single time I do this is those people that join me live in my reflection event, they end up making decisions and becoming versions of themselves in December that by the time Christmas comes and New Year's comes, they're already on track. They're already shifting. They're already growing. We're not waiting until January 1st. We are already becoming the version of ourselves in 2025 that we will become by the end of 2024. So it is one of the most transformative processes that I ever do. It has completely changed my life to do this every single year. And it is a beautiful opportunity for you to set into stone new intentions, new foundations, new visions for what you want to experience in 2025. And as I sit here, as the woman that I am today, with the experiences that I have had this year, with the most recent manifestations that I have, that would literally, Kathleen 4 or 5 years ago, this would blow her mind. But the manifestations that I have had in this past week, what I tell you is that we are not thinking big enough. We are not dreaming bold enough. We are not allowing ourselves to experience all the beauty that this world has to offer us. And this exercise will help you to do that if you choose to join me. And I highly suggest that you do it live. The collective energy is like nothing you've ever experienced. When you are surrounded by the energy of a group of people that want to do this together, and I don't mean in person, this is virtual. So we have people from all over the world in all different time zones. Several people come on that English might be their second language. And all of us come together in this experience, and the collective is so powerful. So while your vibration will calibrate up to the group, you will also find that you will expand and grow. And as you go into 2025, you will start it with the most belief and faith in yourself you've ever experienced. And when you know that everything you want is here, yes, you have faith, but you also have a knowing. It's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. So join me if you want to join me. If not, I hope this was helpful and you can follow those 3 steps for yourself if you would like. But the end of the year is a very, very powerful time for you to set intention and plan for what you want in 2025. And please dream bigger. And remember that the limit does not exist.